as the capital of Israel.
والأحداث الحالية بال2021 خلت المحللين الإسرائيليين يقولوا إنه المشروع الصهيوني بقيام دولة إسرائيل الحالية في طريقه إلى الزوال، ما راح تكمل 100 سنة، لقد أشرفت على الانتهاء.
No matter where we come from, we all trace our roots back here. Sometimes I feel like I'm walking on the same stones as my ancestors. Since biblical times, we have a special word when Jews return to the Promised Land. We say we're making aliyah, which means going up to a higher place. And for us, the Jews, there's no higher place than Jerusalem.
For me, the best time to come to Jerusalem is Easter. Every Easter starts with a Palm Sunday procession. It's where we walk down the Mount of Olives, celebrating the day where Jesus entered the city. Every year, me and my brother George join in this Palm Sunday procession, and we end up meeting people from all over the world. Easter, for most people, it's about the eggs, the bunnies, and decorations. But in here, we still have the same Easter like 2,000 years ago. We still relive what happened with Jesus, the Passion of Christ, the same step by step every Easter. Christian quarter, we have the Ethiopians, the Greek Orthodox, the Catholics, the Coptics, the Syrians, and each community celebrates Easter in their own way. Next to the Christian quarter, we have the Armenian quarter, and they celebrate Easter in their own church. The old city is very small, and the four quarters do not communicate a lot. Although we live in the same area, we don't know a lot about each other.
Smaller than a square mile, Jerusalem's old city contains some of the holiest sites in the world for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. So how did half the people on earth come to cherish the same tiny space? Jerusalem lies at the crossroads of Africa, Asia, and Europe, a region known as the cradle of civilization. The first empires began here 5,000 years ago. As other great powers emerged, the land surrounding Jerusalem became a constant battleground. Each civilization left its mark here. built vast port cities on the Mediterranean Sea. On the tombs of biblical prophets, Muslims built shrines. On a high plateau above the Dead Sea, King Herod the Great built Masada, a mountain fortress where Jewish rebels made their last stand against the Roman army. In the Judean deserts, early Christians built remote monasteries. Some still inhabited to this day. Conquered over 40 times, Jerusalem is many cities, each one built on the ruins of another, and most can still be found beneath our feet.
Imagine you're a detective and you try to solve a mystery based on pieces of evidence that you put together. That's exactly what archaeologists do, except that we do it for the past. One of the things that makes Jerusalem such an exciting place to work is the continuous occupation layers, one on top of the other, going all the way back 5,000 years ago to the first inhabitants, the biblical Jebusites, and then through the Israelites and the Roman period and the Crusaders and all the way up until today. Understanding ancient Jerusalem is like trying to put together a giant puzzle where we're missing most of the pieces and we don't know what the original picture looked like. Everything that we dig up out of the ground is a new piece of that puzzle. Jerusalem lies in the heart of a region that has yielded some of archaeology's most incredible finds. One of the most spectacular finds is the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were written over 2,000 years ago. At the deepest levels under the ground, we find the earliest remains of the people who lived in this land. What is it that drew people to Jerusalem in the first place? It's an isolated, poor, rocky mountain town. The answer is simple: water. In the heart of the ancient city of Jerusalem is a spring which has fresh water in it all year round. So the inhabitants cut a tunnel through solid bedrock to get to that water.
Along with water, there is another reason Jerusalem became important, and that was at the top of the hill that overlooked the city. large outcrop of bedrock where it is believed the Jebusites worshipped the god of the setting sun. In Jewish tradition, this is the foundation stone where the world was created. And some of the most important stories in the Bible took place. Abraham prepared to sacrifice his son in a test of faith. King David brought the Ark of the Covenant. And King Solomon built the first temple, the house of God. Even after the temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, the belief survived, passed down through the Bible, that Jerusalem was the closest place on earth to God.
My grandfather came to Jerusalem when he was 12 years old in 1936 because his father felt that something bad is going to happen in Europe. But all the rest of his family stayed in Poland, and they all perished during the Holocaust. He made research about every place in the old city, and he even wrote 7 books about Jerusalem. And now, in his 90s, he's still learning every day something new about Jerusalem. It's his biggest love, I think.
نرجع لورا شوي. القصة بتبدأ من أيام العثمانيين، واليهودي اللي اسمه هرتزل هو صاحب الكتاب الدولي اليهودية، وعنده فكر إنه يبني دولة يهودية تنشئ كيان لليهود من شتى أنحاء العالم. طلب هرتزل إنه يحصل على قطعة أرض من فلسطين من السلطان العثماني اللي كان زمان عبد الحميد الثاني صاحب الوصاية على فلسطين، وطبعا رفض طلبه. ضلوا يحاولوا بناء هالدولة لإلهم، ولكن الفلسطينيين استقبلوهم كضيوف.
And now, in his 90s, he's still learning every day something new about Jerusalem. It's his biggest love, I think.
احنا الآن نقف أسفل المسجد الأقصى، عمق الحفريات 5 متر أسفل الجدار الغربي للمسجد الأقصى، وتقريبا 2 متر أسفل الأساسات נפסה.
יכול להיות שהם חופרים שמה ויגיעו לאיזה מנהרה, תעלה עתיקה, ייכנסו מתחת והגיעו מתחת לאל-אקצא.